Welcome back from public service. Let's go to health now. An outbreak of meningitis in Nigeria has killed about 269 people in recent weeks. And this figure is coming from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. The figures indicate that within the first and 10th weeks of 2017, 745 cases of meningitis have been recorded, with 21 of these confirmed in the lab. Sadly, 85 deaths occurred in 22 states, including Sokoto, Zamfara, and Katsina. It's my pleasure to welcome Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, who is the CEO, Nigeria Center for Disease Control, who will be joining us from our studio in Abuja. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Alero. Good morning, Nato.
Good. And with us in the studio in Lagos, we have another doctor, Disu Yahaya, who is a member of the Society for Public Health Professionals of Nigeria. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. We are told that meningitis is the inflammation of tissue surrounding the brain and spinal cord, which can be caused by viral or bacterial infections. And it spreads mainly through kisses, sneezes, coughs, and in close living quarters. That makes that almost like anywhere in Nigeria. Let me begin with Abuja. You gave us figures from earlier this year. As of now, what are the figures looking like? Are they more depressing than they already were?
Well, they are worse. I think the figures you have are a bit outdated. Right now we've reported, and these are figures right off the press from yesterday, as of the 30th of March, we have had 2,524 cases nationwide. 131 of these have been laboratory confirmed as bacterial meningitis. There are many causes of meningitis, but here we're talking about bacterial meningitis. And there have been 328 deaths across Nigeria. Now, the five of the most affected states are Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi, and Niger. Now, most of the cases so far have been reported from Zamfara state, where this outbreak started. Okay. And we're working very hard with our colleagues in other government parastatals, especially the Nigeria National Primary Health Care Development Agency.
Sorry to cut you short, but we need to just go on a short break and we'll get back to you.
To contain the spread of these diseases, Kano State government has put in place the following measures. The state government has approved 90 billion naira to enable Ministry of Health to mount aggressive response to combat these diseases. Surveillance at all levels of healthcare delivery have been strengthened and intensified, and we have also reactivated the rapid response team that will respond to reported cases of meningitis and Lassa fever. We have procured anti-position drugs and other vital consumables in our major health facilities. And we have sensitized our healthcare workers on CSM and Lassa fever, especially on case definition and prompt treatment of these conditions. I therefore call on all of us to ensure that we sleep in well-ventilated rooms, avoid overcrowding, especially at night, vomiting, diarrhea, facial swelling, and bleeding from the nose, eyes, and other body orifices should be promptly referred to the nearest health facility for appropriate medical attention.
Welcome back. We were talking to Dr. Ihekwazu, who is speaking to us from Abuja, and he was telling us about the latest figures regarding meningitis in Nigeria. Doctor, back to you.
Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so like I was saying, the updated figures, we have about 2,524 cases across the country. About exactly 131 of those have been confirmed, laboratory confirmed for bacterial meningitis, and there have been 328 deaths. Now, the most affected states are Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi, and Niger states. Now, the outbreak actually started in Zamfara before it spread, and therefore the response is also kicking off in Zamfara. In fact, we've been working very hard with the state governments, with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, our mother ministry, the Ministry of Health, our partners, the World Health Organization, and UNICEF, to really get on top of this situation, and I think we're making good progress.
Okay. Dr. Yahaya, he mentioned Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, and Niger states. These are all states above the Niger and Benue rivers. Why is it that this outbreak is mainly in that region, in the northern part of Nigeria?
If you look at epidemics generally, and when disease gets transmitted from person to person, it's usually people around. If you're talking about contagious disease, since this started in Zamfara, you find out that those states are close to one another. And Kebbi, Zamfara, and Sokoto State. Even Zamfara and Kebbi were part of Sokoto State before. And then part of Kebbi shares boundary or border with Niger State. So it has to do with people moving from place to place. Then again, in the north, and this is the time of the year that you expect this kind of outbreak, because it's usually seen in the first half of the year, especially from December to the first 4 or 5 months of the year, because of the weather. It's a seasonal outbreak. It's something that is expected that will happen. But the important thing is, are we prepared for it? Do we have a good surveillance system that can quickly detect it, and at the same time try and put up response controls?
Okay, you say it's a seasonal outbreak, so it's like every year about this time.
Yes,
there's usually this upsurge in cases. So if we know that it's something that happens annually, how come we almost always seem to be caught unawares?
One thing that we should also realize is, if our surveillance system is working well, then we are likely to detect a high number of cases. And that's what I'm actually seeing here now. Before, we might not be having it in this huge number, probably because people are not reporting it. But because the surveillance system is working, and probably the way the NCDC is working with National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and also considering post-Ebola response. After Ebola experience in Nigeria, everybody is now sensitized to reporting diseases, as in the surveillance officers in almost all the LGAs of the Federation have been trained, and then we have been able to improve our surveillance system a little bit. I think that is what we are seeing now. Over time, when we begin to understand the real number of the outbreak that we expect, or cases that we expect in a year, then we'll be able to now put up appropriate response control.
Okay, let me...
So that it doesn't really...